Okay, so welcome. What I'd like to do is see if I can evaluate now for the inverse cosine of 2. And this kind of presents a problem because if I write this in function notation, I write this as cosine of an angle that equals 2. So what angle, when I take the cosine of it, equals 2? And remember, 2, or the cosine representing your x coordinate on a point on the unit circle. So when I look at my unit circle here, I notice that none of my angles are going to even equal to or even get high as that value. So that's going to start, kind of caution me of saying, well, I don't know if I can take the inverse of cosine of 2. And then I go back to my range, and I'm also going to look at my domain. Because now you can see that 2 is going to actually have to fall in part of your domain. Now we know the range has to be between 0 and pi. That means my angle that I'm going to evaluate for has to be between 0 and pi. But my domain, we need to remember the domain has to fall between -1 and 1. Because remember, when we looked at our graph, the domain was between -1 and 1. Where the graph, went something like this up to, pi. So our domain, that means when we want to evaluate for the inverse cosine function, our input value has to be between -1 and 1. So therefore, this function at taking the inverse cosine of 2 is undefined. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you take the inverse cosine when you have an undefined value. You just can't do it. It's undefined.